Welcome. My name is John Arnold, and I am the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's events. Would everyone please stand for the presentation of colors by the Frederick County Fire Rescue Honor Guard and the Montgomery County Firefighters Pipes and Drums, and remain standing for the national anthem, which will be sung by Miss Maddie Hopkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I'd like to point out, in the event of an emergency, the exit signs to the right and left of you and to the rear of the auditorium. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Dr. Eric T. Myers, pastor with the Frederick Presbyterian Church, who will lead the invocation.
Let us pray. God, our Creator, God, our Supreme, God, our Guide, God, our promised and constant presence, we gather here this night to celebrate the accomplishments achieved, to celebrate knowledge acquired, skills obtained, procedures mastered, all part of what it means to serve you and your people here in Frederick County as firefighters, EMTs, and first responders. We celebrate the many hours of study and learning, but we also celebrate and thank you for relationships formed, friendships found, and bonds that will last for a lifetime. And we thank you for the call placed in each graduate's heart and soul. And we give you thanks for the yes that each graduate has answered to that call. As we celebrate this night, we pray that you will continue to guide and direct all of us, but especially those beginning a new direction, a new path, a new career. Now let us and let this place be filled with joy as we celebrate, as we laugh and tell stories and are filled with pride for all that has been done that brings us here this night. Amen.
Please allow me to introduce our guests as well as thank them for their attendance and various levels of support they've given our organization. With us on stage is Deputy Fire Chief Kenneth Poole with the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Fire Chief Steve Leatherman, Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Fire Chief Michael Darwick, Chief of Volunteer Fire Rescue Services. Battalion Chief Frank Malta, Chief of Training, Division of Fire Rescue Services. President James May, Frederick County Volunteer Fire Rescue Association. Maryland State Senator Karen Lewis Young, District 3, Frederick County. The Honorable Jessica Fitzwater, Frederick County Executive. Mr. John Peterson, Frederick County Chief Administrative Officer. The Honorable Brad Young, President of the Frederick County Council. The Honorable Cavante Duckett, Vice President of Frederick County Council. The Honorable Renee Knapp, Frederick County Council Member. And the Honorable Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court for Frederick County. And Reverend Dr. Eric T. Myers, Pastor of the Frederick Presbyterian Church. Colonel Ned Marsh, U.S. Army Installation Fort Detrick Garrison Commander. Chief Gary Kuntz, Jr., Chief of the Community Fire Company of New Tripoli. Mr. Stephen Jones, President of the Career Firefighters Association of Frederick County, IEFF Local 3666. And a special thanks goes out to the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services Honor Guard, the Montgomery County Firefighter Pipes and Drums, Frederick County Video Services, who's recording tonight's event, as well as many other agencies, and I believe we saw the Frederick City Police Department in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to introduce the Honorable Jessica Fitzwater, Frederick County Executive.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to recruit classes 33 and 34. Woo! I am so happy to be able to welcome you to the Frederick County family tonight, because today you officially become Frederick County firefighters and EMTs. Today's graduation has been a very long time in the making. It's been almost a year since you applied, along with over 600 other applicants. Today, your persistence and determination have paid off. When you first reported for duty on January 30th, you didn't know most of the people who would be training with you for the next 6 months. Military service members trained side by side with welders, electricians, delivery drivers, and a golf course groundskeeper. Classmates reported from as far away as Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Seasoned firefighters standing next to classmates with no prior fire service experience. You've spent 28 weeks creating so many shared experiences. You worked hard in the classroom, in PT, and in the field to make it happen. And as they say, no sacrifice, no gain. You proved that you earned your place. Your training has been intense. Without a doubt, the career you have chosen is physically and mentally draining. And you successfully completed the 200-hour emergency medical technician course and are now certified both in Maryland and nationally as EMTs. I have tried on the heavy turnout gear and clunky boots in Fire Ops 101 and attempted to drag a charged hose line. I even tried using the jaws of life, and it is not easy. The physical exertion is obvious when you look at your progress through the academy. Before you officially begin your new assignment in the field, some of you as early as tomorrow, I want to take a moment to remind you of why you were hired. With the hundreds of hours of technical training, it's sometimes easy to forget that the human side of this job, the caring service side, is most important. Each one of you who wears the uniform provides a critical service to the residents of Frederick County. You are saving lives and protecting property. One of the fundamental responsibilities of local government is to ensure the safety of the people who live and work here. It comes down to something simple: taking care of people. That focus on people is a top priority for me and for you. You're in a career that is among the most trusted of public servants. You will make a difference in the lives of people you come in contact with, people that you have yet to meet. The people you will touch will never forget how you treated them. They will never forget how you made them feel when they were in crisis. They will value your professionalism and your care and the service you provide to them and their families. You are now part of a team that functions very well in intense fire and rescue situations and a whole host of emergencies. As part of that firehouse team, you will gel together to support each other and become part of a special fire department family. You will spend a lot of time together, depend upon one another, enjoy meals and time with your shift mates, and you will learn something new every day. As a rookie, you'll continue to learn vital information. If you need to ask others for assistance, do so. That's why the team is there. If you have questions, ask them. If you're overwhelmed at times, your shift mates are there to help. Thank you for choosing to serve the residents of Frederick County and for choosing a career to help others and be in service to others. I would be remiss if I did not also recognize that today is the 2-year anniversary of the loss of Battalion Chief Josh Laird. I know many of you have heard stories about Josh in your time in training. May you serve with his same commitment to lifelong learning, service above self, and yes, having a sense of humor while you do it. In closing, I want to thank your families for their support over the past months and for their continued support in your future. I want to thank the instructors and class coordinators, especially Captain Daniel Winters and class commanders Lieutenant Adam Cross and Lieutenant Aaron Waltz. Thanks also to Chief Tom Coe and Assistant Chief Kenny Poole for all the work you and your command staff do to ensure the safety of the dedicated men and women who put their lives on the line every day in service to this community. I am proud of all of you and proud to support you, and I'm grateful that you chose to work for Frederick County. Congratulations to each and every one of you, recruit classes 33 and 34.
I would like to now invite Deputy Fire Chief Kenneth Poole to the stage to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight's ceremony.
Good evening. On behalf of Chief Tom Coe, who is not able to be with us tonight, and the entire Frederick County Fire Rescue family, I too want to welcome you tonight. I want to share our sincere gratitude to County Executive Jessica Fitzwater for her continued support of our fire service. While this is her first firefighter graduation as county executive, she has provided years of support while serving on the county council. Thank you for joining us tonight and sharing your words of encouragement. Now it is my honor to introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Colonel Ned Marsh is the Garrison Commander of U.S. Army Installation Fort Detrick. Colonel Marsh is a native of Connecticut and a graduate of Providence College in 2000 with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. Initially commissioned through ROTC as an infantry officer, he served at the 1st Battalion, 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment at Fort Richardson, Alaska. In 2004, he was selected and qualified as a Special Forces officer, followed by multiple assignments at the 1st Special Forces Group at Fort Lewis, Washington. Colonel Marsh served as the battalion commander at the U.S. Army Parachute Team and with other assignments include Special Operations Command Europe in Germany and U.S. Special Operations Command at Fort Bragg. Colonel Marsh has deployed multiple times in staff and command positions for combat and operations throughout the U.S. Central, the Indo-Pacific, and the European Geographic Combatant Commands. He holds a Master's of Science in Irregular Warfare from the Naval Post-Grad School, a Master of Arts in Military Operations from the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, School of Advanced Military Studies, and a Master of Arts in Strategic Studies from the U.S. Army War College. He now resides in Frederick with his wife Tara and their 3 daughters. Colonel, thank you for joining us tonight and for your service to our country. I ask that everyone join me in giving Colonel Ned Marsh a warm Frederick County Fire Rescue welcome.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Gosh, I'm not sure that when I signed up for this, I knew how big the crowd was going to be before I got up here. Good evening, Chief Poole. Thank you for that fine introduction. Friends, family members, City of Frederick leaders, Frederick County leaders, Chief Coe, Chief Poole, Division of Fire Rescue Services, and all to the members of the fire services, and especially to the recruit classes of 33 and 34. Thank you for having me here with you tonight on this very fine evening. I truly am humbled to speak with you. First, let me say congratulations. So a stringent hiring process, 1,000 hours of training in about 10 different blocks, challenging physically, challenging mentally. You made it, and you should be proud. I'm damn proud for you. Enjoy this moment, but don't dwell too long. I understand some of you will be on the job tomorrow, and others soon after that. Tonight, you are no longer recruits, but instead you are taking the first steps in what, for some of you, will be long and distinguished careers. So I was asked to speak with you on the wisdom and guidance of what it takes to have a successful and rewarding career. If age and experience creates wisdom, then I must confess that I am saddened to have to recognize that I'm old enough for some to think that I might be wise. Frankly, I don't feel a day over 45. Thanks. As for experience, I view this as relative. We all have our own experience. I have never thought of mine as any more special than anybody else's. In fact, I'm privileged to know some people who have a heck of a lot more experience than I do. So, for example, I have a friend. He's doing the exact same job as me, same rank, different location. That guy's also a medical doctor and an actual NASA astronaut who spent a year on the space station. So when you think you're doing great, just remember, it's all relative. There's always somebody doing a little bit better than you out there, okay? Now, I'm not going to stand up here tonight and profess knowledge on all things or tell you that my way is going to work for you. But I've done a few things, and if you'd be so kind to listen, I'll try to pass along some of what I've learned in the hope that it may help you in your career. I'll give you a little bit of background on my career so you can understand how an Army officer, not a firefighter, ended up here speaking to you tonight. I think the context of my experience will help you understand my logic. For while our jobs are very different, we do share some similarities. We're mission-focused, we're problem-oriented, we're skill-based, and most importantly, our job is done by groups of small teams who live and work together in stressful and dangerous conditions. So I joined the Army in 1997. I went on to active duty in spring of 2000. I started, as the chief said, as an infantry officer. I graduated my basic course, just as you're doing right here. I finished Ranger School, and I went to my first assignment in Alaska, Parachute Infantry Regiment, where I led a platoon of 30 soldiers. I was there, and I was on duty when 9/11 happened, and in that unit, I made my first combat deployment to Afghanistan. And from there, I joined the Special Forces, ultimately becoming what is commonly referred to as a Green Beret. So Green Berets are guerrilla warfare experts. We use unconventional tactics to fight enemies abroad. We are highly selective. We complete rigorous training. We do sensitive missions. We use small teams. special tactics, and we work by, with, and through indigenous forces. My specialty country was China, so I learned Chinese. 我会说一点普通话. I led an operational detachment alpha, or an ODA. I did a mountain team, I did a sniper team, as well as a company through 9 combat deployments, mostly throughout the jungles of the southern Philippines and the Afghan mountains and deserts. Mountain climbing, parachuting, scuba diving. My enemies have included the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Abu Sayyaf, Haqqani Network, Iranian-aligned militia groups, and the Quds Force. My most recent trip being a year-long pump to Iraq and Syria to defeat ISIS remnants 2020 to 2021. I've also held a handful of other ragtag jobs, such as operations officer, planner, liaison, special operations headquarters, the parachute team, the Golden Knights, as mentioned. I've been in about 195 countries, and my family has moved more times than I want to remember or they want to remember. It's been an amazing 23 years. I've had a good career, I've been promoted, I've gotten leadership assignments, and I've worked with thousands of amazing people. It's still going. I have survived, and I've done some stuff. I am not a hero. I've stood and served with heroes, and I've seen some of the most beautiful and some of the most awful things on earth. Now I try to be a normal human being. My wife, as the chief said, and I and our 3 daughters, we live here in Frederick, so hopefully I never have to see you, but you could be coming to help me and my family. I have a passion for life. I have a compassion for my fellow travelers. My job now, as mentioned, is the garrison commander at Fort Detrick. The garrison is a civilian organization, about 500 people. There's only a handful of us who are military members. We're responsible for the public works, police, guards, fire, recreation, public affairs, you name it. I'm not a mayor, I'm more like a small city manager. I'm not an expert in any of those things. This is my first time doing this. I think I'm there for the leadership. Our job is to keep the base running so that the units assigned there can get their taxpayer-funded missions done. I'm lucky to have 2 fire stations. We got 50 on Detrick in Frederick County and 54 at Forest Glen and Silver Springs in Montgomery County. We have mutual aid agreements with both counties. You could very well see me when you respond to Fort Detrick. You probably will. I've learned a lot from my guys. Some of you might have got to do a live burn out there at the county training ground. That was pretty fun. Drive the trucks. Don't let my guys tell you I didn't hit any cones. A career, so that's me. Let me talk wisdom about careers. I would imagine in your training, you've been taught how to deal with problems. Take a fire. It starts, you respond, you apply resources, in this case water, the fire's put out. It's not that simple yet, I know, but bear with me. This is objective-based. The objective is the fire. It's linear. It starts, it finishes. This is an operational approach to solve the problem. The application of ends, ways, means. Unfortunately, a career isn't anything like that. A career is a journey. You shape your destiny through your actions and your mental attitude. Point 1, control is an illusion, but you can influence. We tend to have that linear, objective-based mindset. We think that we live in a realm of cause and effect. If I do this, that will happen. This is false. Life is a constant flow of events. There is no permanent reality. Think of life or your career as water flowing in a river, always moving. It has eddies, drops, currents, falls and dams. It can become stagnant in morass. Rarely is it frozen. Life emerges from an endless interaction, shaped by all the preceding interactions. The never-ending interactions of situations always results in new experiences, in new context. This alone limits the values such as linearity, cause and effect, and most importantly, prediction. You aren't going to know what's going to happen. Life is subjective. We only see life from the perspective of the water in the river, not from standing on the shore looking at the water. This means that it's really hard to know what is going on around you, to know what is happening, to know why things are happening, and to know what is coming next. The good news is you have agency. You have free will. Your path is not predetermined, but your actions can shape the environment and they can shape future interactions. Most simply stated, worry about the things you can control and don't waste precious energy worrying about the things you can't. You control you. Flow through challenges and obstacles in life like water flows around a stone in the river. If you cultivate yourself like a gardener cultivates a garden to grow something, you can have emergent and sustained success. Now, it's not guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed. But you can give yourself a fighting chance by having a consistent, personal discipline. Yes, control is an illusion, but you can shape the environment to be how you want it to be through your words and actions. If you want to be and stay a fit firefighter, cultivate an environment that fosters fitness. If instead you cultivate an environment of laziness, of procrastination, of unhealth, then don't be surprised if that's exactly what you get. If you sit back and just let life happen, it will go where it wants. You create your opportunities. A huge piece of this is understanding that a career really is a marathon, not a sprint. There's a juxtaposition there of intensity versus consistency. You can't make up for a year of inactivity with a week of super intense exercise at the gym. It's far better to go to the gym a little bit every day. The same logic goes for relationships or work. I can't love my family really hard 1 week of the year to make up for not treating them right the rest of the year. You come to work 1 day a week and you aren't doing it the rest of the time, you can't make up for that. You got to be consistent in your effort. Number 2, have a plan for your career, but don't get too locked in on it. If you design a plan for your career from tonight until the end, with a series of goals and things that you need to do, the odds of it actually happening are low. I guarantee you the only thing that is certain is that your plan, your goals in your life are going to change. Midterm, long-term goals, they're good. But remember, life is like a river. We are in the water. It is great to dream about the future. It's okay to reminisce about the past, but it's unhealthy to dwell in either place too long. Your success is in the here and in the now. Be present. Be great teammates. Be professional. Ounces equal pounds. And the little things you do each and every day will build a foundation that fosters mid and long-term success. Change is natural and unstoppable. This is the paradox of time. I can only see into the past, but we only travel into the future. We can't pause time. We can't rewind time. You've got to be flexible. You've got to be agile, and you've got to be adaptable over a career. If you do not evolve, you will become obsolete, and you're going to get replaced. You must always be working to better yourself through learning, theory, history, doctrine, experience. This gets back to cultivating yourself for success. Foster an environment of success, but be agile enough to take advantage of opportunities when they present. Through your persistent hard work and professional, you will manifest these opportunities. Also remember what I said, that life is not permanent. Success has to be continuously replicated and produced every day, every week, every year throughout your career. Meaning don't rest on your laurels, and there's no room for nostalgia and fitness. If you need to be fit today and you're not, it doesn't matter how fit you were 5 years ago. Be positional. Put yourself in the best place to create and take advantage of opportunity. If you're not in the game, don't be surprised if you're not in the game. Be an expert, know your job, think ahead, plan, prepare, rehearse, and execute with confidence. Number 3, have a good and positive attitude. Be a person of character. Always, always be honest. Speak and act according to the values of your profession and your creed. If you do, you will foster a positive and successful environment around you. If you are a curmudgeon, if you're always miserable and you're always griping and complaining, don't be surprised if your work environment is miserable and the people around you don't want to work with you. Be self-aware and seek to understand how you are affecting those around you. It is human nature that emotions are infectious. Don't ever forget this. In my business, we say, on the battlefield, courage is contagious. Oppositely, cowardice and negative emotions are equally contagious. And they can be so corrosive. Do the right thing even when it's hard, especially when no one is looking. That is courage. Yeah, we all know about physical courage. There's going to be no shortage of physical courage in your line of work. But moral courage is, in my opinion, more important. And it will likely be required of you more commonly than physical courage ever will be in your career. Moral courage is doing what's right, even when it costs you with your peers. If you ignore or dodge the little things and walk by, you lose stock in your moral courage. Instead, if every time you check another or you check yourself for doing something wrong, you add to your stock. And when the great test comes, you'll be ready. In your career, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. I've learned far more from my mistakes than I ever did from my successes, and I have had some pretty terrible screw-ups. To err is human. How we respond is truly what's important. Own your mistakes. Take responsibility. Do not cast blame or shift blame. Inside, you'll know the truth. Be humble. Accept that you made a mistake. Learn, grow. In the long run, you will benefit. If you always blame others for your condition and focus on grievance, eventually you'll live in a grudge world built grudge brick by grudge brick. This is a miserable and pitiful experience. Every relationship, work or otherwise, is a two-way street. If you want it to be a good relationship, you must nurture it and spend time with it. Relationships are built on mutual trust. If you have a bad relationship, analyze yourself first. There are toxic leaders, yes. When in charge, be in charge. Be the boss you want leading you. I say a good boss makes a bad job fun. A bad boss makes a good job miserable. But there are toxic followers also. You need to be a good follower. Trust your leaders. Make it easy for your leaders to trust you. Once a decision is made, execute like you made the decision, even if you disagree. If you undercut, backstab, or talk ill of a decision, then you are being a bad follower. Lastly, in a career, in the end, the only people who are going to be there are you and your family. You must be able to look into the mirror at the end of the day. When you do, only you will know if you did the right thing. If you choose to do it the wrong way, be prepared to live with the consequences. Instead, if you cultivate yourself for success and things don't work out, you'll know and you will be okay. Care for your family and nurture it. Be wary of neglecting it too much for your profession. Someday, firefighting is going to be done with you. And when it is, you are going to want your family to be there. If you neglect them, they will leave you, and in the end, you will have nothing. In your career, reputation is everything. You won't be remembered for what unit you were in, what station you were assigned to, what medals you have. You will be remembered for your attitude. How did you do at your job in the day in and the day out when the chips were down and things were hard or when things were easy? You will be remembered if you were a good teammate, if you were loyal or disloyal, if you did your duty or shirked your duty, if you were respectful or disrespectful, if you were honorable or dishonorable, if you were selfish or selfless, if you lied or if you had integrity, if you had courage or cowardice. You will be judged by if you lived up to your creed. It's not always going to be easy. There will be hard days, very hard days. You must have grit and you must have determination. You must persevere, most especially when things are the hardest and they seem the most hopeless. Congratulations, good luck. I'll see you on the battlefield at the objective.
Thank you, Colonel Marsh. These recruit classes began with a total of 55 individuals. The classes started with individuals from many different walks of life, Out of 55 individuals, only so many of them will make it to graduation due to various reasons. But now, long overdue, standing before you are 47 graduates who no longer work as individuals. They have trained together, suffered together, and grown together as a unit. All these events, coupled with the rigorous training demands, serve as the fire that forged and strengthened the bond amongst them all. I would like to now introduce Lieutenant Adam Cross, Recruit Class Commander for RC-33.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for coming tonight. It's an honor to be here with these individuals and what they've accomplished so far. I'd like to thank Chief Malta, Captain Winters for the opportunity to be the Recruit Class Commander. I'd like to thank my wife for her extreme patience, understanding, and support over the last 28 weeks. Most of all, I'd like to thank the members of RC-33 for placing their trust in the process. While it wasn't always smooth, your commitment, your dedication to learning the job was unwavering. 28 weeks ago, when we first gathered for family night, the recruits had a lot of information thrown at them in a very short period of time. I remember looking out into the room and seeing expressions of anxiousness, fear, excitement, and confusion. We spoke about the workload that lay ahead, the mindset they would need to develop, and the expectation for how they would represent the department from that day forward. One of the key attributes that stood out was the term grit. We define grit as a class as the ability to persevere, regardless of the challenges that were presented. Looking back now, I never imagined just how important that would be for this group. These individuals have overcome personal and professional challenges that I would not have predicted. As a class, they've overcome relationship issues, vehicle issues, family issues, and numerous academic challenges. The 23 members of RC-33 sitting here tonight showcased true grit. They persevered not as individuals, but as a class, and can now say they have accomplished the goal. My only request for RC-33 moving forward is that they take tonight to enjoy the moment, appreciate what they have been through, thank those that helped them get here, but in the days that come, as you step into your stations for your first shift, strive to be the hardest workers on shift that day. Take pride in your shifts and what is your new family, and most of all, never let go of that motto that Calandra came known for, all gas, no brakes. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome RC-33's valedictorian, Nicole Taylor.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the graduation of Recruit Class 33 and 34. Tonight marks the final step of a challenging but rewarding 28-week process. On day one of the Academy, we were given a few key steps to success: 100% effort, 100% of the time, take ownership of your actions, love each other, function as a team, and most importantly, attention to detail. These sound like simple expectations, but with 28 individually minded strangers, those goals were not as easily achieved as expected. Many of us will never forget our day one experience. The expectations were laid out, and this is when the real work began. The quicker we learn to come together as one functioning team, the easier we can make this on ourselves. Our journey included PT every morning at 0700 sharp that pushed us to our physical and mental limitations, with PT instructors who often outperformed us, practical evolutions alongside dedicated instructors, freezing cold temperatures to black flag conditions, fast-paced classes with many afternoon study sessions, and blocks, lots of blocks. For those who don't know, the Academy has a well-organized pile of concrete cinder blocks that are effectively used to correct our mistakes. The idea behind it is rather simple. Take a block and carry it with you. But the minor details include never letting it touch the ground, no matter what you do. An inconvenience, sure, but who knew a simple block could have such an impactful message? One memory I will never forget was cleaning the burn building with blocks during Fire 1. One of many lessons well learned together as a team. Lieutenant Cross saw potential in each and every one of us and had a vision of a unified class. He showed us unwavering support on our good days and on our bad days. He was notorious for his disappointed dad talks, a term my class came up with. This is when we knew we had really let him down and he truly cared about our success. These talks often rallied us together and reminded us to reprioritize the Academy in this process. Trust the process. Many of us started this Academy full of motivation to start the best career in the world. But as Lieutenant Cross taught us, motivation is fleeting. Discipline is where the real work begins. Find your why, have some grit, and don't ever stop. The adversity we faced taught us many lessons that will carry on with us through our career. Remember those moments when you were tired but stayed up to study extra for a hard test. Remember the mornings you got up on your first alarm instead of hitting snooze. And most importantly, remember when your body said stop, but your mind said one more, and carry that mindset through all aspects of your life. Have integrity and take pride in everything that you do. Through this process, we gained a make-it-happen mentality and became one family. I've seen growth in myself and been able to witness the transformation of my class. In front of me are 22 of my very best friends, my new family. 22 older and younger brothers I never thought I'd have. I would also like to thank Chief Malta, Captain Winters, and Lieutenant Cross for creating this environment to allow for our personal growth, for displaying the work ethic, values, and attributes needed in the service of others, and being firsthand examples of what we aspire to be. Lastly, I want to extend a thank you on behalf of my class to all of the family members present today and at home who supported us through this process. Your sacrifices and support did not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will have the badge pinning portion of the ceremony for Recruit Class 33. Would Recruit Class Training Coordinator please prepare the Recruit Class for presentation? For those of you who will be pinning badges for the graduates of RC 33, please proceed to my right, your left, over to Lieutenant Studs in the corner, and hold your applause until the end of the event, and we'll applaud together. Deputy Fire Chief Poole, Leatherman, Chief Darwick, Battalion Chief Malta will be presenting the graduation certificates. Chiefs, if you would please form a receiving line and hand the certificates, and if the distinguished guests would like to line up behind them and congratulate the recipients as well. James Calandro, Edgewater, Maryland. Riley Cave, Walkersville, Maryland. Quincy DeFore, Tawnytown, Maryland. James Elsesser, New Windsor, Maryland. Easton M. Weiler, Mount Airy, Maryland. Ty Grossnickel, Poolesville, Maryland. Colin Kisner, Smithsburg, Maryland. Braden Masters, Westminster, Maryland. Anthony Morrow, Hagerstown, Maryland. Logan Nelson, Frederick, Maryland. Elijah Oliver, Stuttgart, Germany. Jacob Patterson, Green Valley, Maryland. Zachary Reel, Sharpsburg, Maryland. David Ryder, Liverpool, Pennsylvania. Zachary Roop, Falling Waters, West Virginia. Matthew Scrupa, Mount Airy, Maryland. Travis Snyder, Littlestown, Pennsylvania. Justin Stern, Eldersburg, Maryland. Chase Tarman, Sharpsburg, Maryland. Nicole Taylor, Winchester, Virginia. Sebastian Temple, Williamsport, Maryland. Jacob Torres, Middletown, Maryland. Timothy Zieber, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Members and guests, you can return to your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the pinning ceremony portion for Recruit Class 33. If we could, let's give them a round of applause. All right, 34, you got to outdo that. Next, if I could introduce Lieutenant Aaron Waltz, the Recruit Class Coordinator for RC 34.
Thank you. RC 34. It has been my honor and pleasure to serve as your Recruit Class Commander for such an outstanding group. I have enjoyed watching you grow, learn fire department tactics, and life skills, including the first time one of you tried to make coffee and didn't realize that you actually had to pour the water into the coffee maker and not just set it full of water onto the burner. You have worked so hard to lose the status of recruit firefighter and replacing it with probationary or rookie firefighter in Frederick County. If you remember back to January 27th at family night when we all met for the first time as one group of individuals, I was going over my expectations for the next 28 weeks, and I closed out the night with our first class motto: play like you're in first, train like you're in second. Starting that Monday morning, January 30th at 0800 hours, you started every day with this mindset. Just to give you one example of playing like you're in first, I'm proud to share that RC 34 had the highest combined GPA ever in Frederick County with an average of 87.59. Now for the second part of the motto, train like you're in second. The dedication for these 24 men was mind-blowing, from coming in early and staying late all on their own time. From making study guides to Quizlets, the amount of focus and determination they had, not as an individual I saw on family night, but as one cohesive group. Some of you also use your previous on-the-job experience to help others and adapt their knowledge to learn the Frederick way. All of this helped their classmates, and it could be heard around campus with their creative cadences. Now I would like to thank Training Battalion Chief Malta, Recruit Class Coordinator Captain Winters, for giving me the opportunity to be a Recruit Class Commander, to lead and mold these 24 men into Frederick County Firemen. Secondly, the family and friends of all the recruits. Not only is it hard on the recruits, but it's also hard on all of you. They have spent numerous hours away from their families. Some of them moved, rented apartments, and temporarily relocated Frederick County just to achieve this goal. And last but not least, to my parents for helping out with the kids while my wife and I was at work, to my wife Jeanette, son Aiden, and daughter Brinley. I know it was hard on the three of you over the past 8 months, and I appreciate all your help along the way, especially to my wife Jeanette, who now has to cook dinner 5 nights a week because I don't get home until 1800. But hey, on the bright side, we're leaving for Pittsburgh tomorrow morning for a weekend full of Pirates baseball, thanks to RC-34. Thank you again for the opportunity, and congratulations to RC-34. You now have officially started and have the greatest career in the world. Thank you. Next, I would like to call up RC-34's valedictorian, Recruit Scott.
Good evening. I'd like to express my gratitude to all those present with us tonight to celebrate Recruit Class 33 and Recruit Class 34's successful completion of the Frederick County Fire and Rescue Academy. This has been a long and arduous journey, of which we take immense pride in having finally reached its conclusion. We have spent day after day relentlessly solidifying the skills and knowledge needed just to begin this journey into our field. We have spent night after night tirelessly studying and preparing, leaving very little time for much else. These past 28 weeks have been exhausting, to say the least. And though we would love to take sole credit for the successful completion of this academy, this has been a shared success, as none of this would have been possible without the overwhelming support from the numerous individuals who have stood by our side this entire time. Our families, who have stood by not only to motivate and encourage us along the way, but also in shouldering responsibility in our personal lives as needed. Our PT instructors, who consistently held us to higher standards and pushed us to places we didn't think possible to reach. Our course instructors, who put tremendous time and effort to make sure that we would be successful in not only becoming competent in performing the necessary skills, but also in passing the required examinations. Our academy staff, who developed and maintained a renowned program ensuring that each and every one of us had the tools and opportunities to grow into strong, competent, and disciplined men and women. And our class commanders, Lieutenant Waltz and Lieutenant Cross, who had dedicated themselves to advocating for our success, ensuring that the only reason for failure would be because we chose it. All of this has brought us to where we stand today, together united, prepared to confront the challenges waiting before us. We have fought through pain, embraced discomfort, conquered fears, and pushed through adversity. Every obstacle placed in our way we have overcome. Our constant enthusiasm and determination has paved the way for our development and has allowed us to be sculpted appropriately. We have learned to become a family. always looking out for one another and ensuring each other's success. We have developed into men and women now physically and mentally prepared to begin our new careers. But we can't get comfortable now. We are about to embark on our journey into our respective fire stations, where we will no longer be provided the structured motivation day in and day out that we have been gifted during our time in this academy. It is our responsibility to maintain motivation moving forward in all aspects of our career, including physical fitness, academics, and skills performance. We owe this not only to ourselves, but to the citizens of Frederick County and to our fellow brothers and sisters to maintain proficiency and good health. So let us never stop learning, never stop growing, and never stop moving forward. Stagnancy is a disease that we must avoid at all costs. To remain dormant in our careers and embrace contentment would be a dishonor to those who have come before us, particularly those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. We should strive for perfection, always learning from our mistakes, because we can always do better. It is our duty to become and remain an illustration of competence, virtue, strength, and resilience. So as we navigate the difficulties and challenges that await us in our careers to come, let us not forget our class motto, a beacon which had echoed through these halls for the past 28 weeks. No sacrifice, no victory. Thank you.
At this time, we will have the badge pinning portion of the ceremony for Recruit Class 34. Recruit Class Training Coordinator, please prepare the class for presentation. For those of you who will be pinning badges from the members of RC 34, please proceed to my right, your left, to Lieutenant Studs in the corner. Once again, family and friends are welcome to come to the front and take pictures. Please hold your applause until after the members of Recruit Class 34 have been sworn in. Deputy Chief Poole, Chief Leatherman, Chief Darwick, Battalion Chief Malta, the distinguished guests, if you want to take your spots. Good. Evan Blizzard, Union Bridge, Maryland. Nello Buren, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Frank Candido, Fairfield, Pennsylvania. Anthony Catrino, Glen Burnie, Maryland. Dalton Cooper, Jefferson, Maryland. Tyler Fritches, Hanover, Pennsylvania. Noah Jackson, Delmar, Delaware. Daniel James, Woodbury, New Jersey. Dakota Keller, Sharpsburg, Maryland. Curtis Lakin, Jefferson, Maryland. Randy Lookingbill, Tawnytown, Maryland. Dennis Mann, Westminster, Maryland. Jacob McCabe, Laurel, Maryland. Max McCaman, Union Bridge, Maryland. William McKee, Glenville, Pennsylvania. Nicholas Mister, Havre de Grace, Maryland. Hunter Nice, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Sean Scott, Smithsburg, Maryland. Damon Sullivan, Leonardtown, Maryland. Antoine Taylor, Randallstown, Maryland. Joshua Tidd, Newmarket, Maryland. Charles Tippett, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Aiden Vickery Roby, Baltimore, Maryland. Jamontrez Williams, Frederick, Maryland. Staff and guests, if you'd like to return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the pending ceremony for Recruit Class 34. If we could now give them a round of applause. At this time, we will now present the Zachary T.A. Paris Heart of the Lion Award. This award was created in memory of Zachary Paris of RC 32, who tragically died in the line of duty on December 7th of 2022 while operating at a house fire in his hometown of New Tripoli, Pennsylvania. The Heart of the Lion is awarded to the recruit who unequivocally demonstrates an abundance of motivation, strong will, and determination, a never-quit attitude, and gives all-out effort to make it happen. I'd like to ask Mr. Gerald and Ms. Carol Paris, as well as Chief Gary Kuntz Jr. from the Community Fire Company of New Tripoli, to please come to the stage and accept the award on behalf of Zachary as the RC 32 recipient. Chief Poole and Chief Malta, if you could please come to the podium. Now I would like to present the recipients of the Zachary Paris Heart of the Lion Award to a member of RC 33. This award will be given to Easton Elmsweiler. Please come to the stage. We would now like to present the Zachary Paris Heart of the Lion Award to a member of RC 34, William McKee. If we could, let's give him one more round of applause. You can now be seated. Recruit class 33 and 34 will now retire their guidons. If the platoon leader and guidon bearer would please come forward to retire the guidon and present them to Chief Malta, Training Chief of the Fire Academy. The guidon is a time-honored tradition since the early days of warfare. They were used to alert the commanding general to a disposition of a subordinate unit. The guidon is a great source of pride for the unit. Throughout the years, several traditions have developed around it. Should it be dropped or come in contact with the ground, the guidon bearer or unit would be punished in the form of having to do multiple push-ups. It is fiercely guarded in order to prevent other units from taking it. While in training, the unit leader may choose to roll the guidon and hide the identity of the unit due to substandard performance or embarrassing performance. The guidon is left that way until the performance has improved. I would now like to introduce the Honorable Miss Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court, Frederick County, to perform the swearing-in ceremony.
What a wonderful evening. Gosh. I'd have to say, honestly, this has been the most vivacious group of attendees. And I just, yeah. That's how I celebrate love. It's all for you, recruits. It's all for you. At this time, it is my honor to be able to administer the oath of office, which is the commitment that you have made, all summed up in one big, large paragraph. And because I didn't get correct, or not correct, I didn't get details before, I didn't ask, are they coming to the stage? Yes. Or, all right. Please, you should.
All righty. Captain Winters, you're up.
Thank you. So I arrived earlier today to have everyone sign the test book. This is a book that will be kept at the courthouse, attesting to their commitment and the oath they're about to receive. Do this in advance because once the celebration is semi-over and everybody wants to hug, pictures, and everything with their newly appointed firefighter person, I can't get signatures. So we do it in advance. And it was such a lovely morning to show up. Many were hoarding the candy machine and the chip machine because it was almost lunchtime, and that was what they needed. I did also make an observation that there were quite a few left-handed people in this group of, I think it's 45, 46. So it's a wonderful blend. The other observation that I made tonight is that, by golly, they get younger every year. But to each and every one out there, I know the pride you have for your recruit. I am the mother of a police officer, and at the pinning ceremony, I didn't get one of those, but my heart just feels for each and every person, and prayers will be with all of these recruits as they continue to help keep our community safe, and my thankfulness that they have chosen this career path. This time, recruits, I'm going to ask you, please, all to raise your right hand. I'm going to administer the oath. I will start by asking you to repeat your name one by one. Start, please.
James Calandro, Riley K. Quincy DeFore, James Alcesser, Easton M. Swallow, Ty Grossnickel, Colin Kistner, Braden Madison, Anthony Morrow, Logan Nelson, Elijah Oliver, Evan Blizzard, Mello Bury, Frank Candido, Anthony Contrino, Dalton Cooper, Tyler Precious, Noah Jackson, Daniel James, Dakota Keller, Curtis Lakin, Randy Lookenbill, Dennis Mann, Jacob Patterson, Zachary Reel, David Ryder, Zachary Root, Matthew Srupa. Travis Snyder.
Justin Stern. Chase Torman.
Cole Taylor.
Sebastian Temple. Jacob Torres. Timothy Zebra. Jacob McKee.
Max McCammon.
William McKee. Nicholas Mister.
Hunter Knight.
Sean Scott.
Damon Sullivan.
Andrew Bill. Joshua Tidd. Charles Tippett. Aiden Vickery Roby. Montrez Williams.
As I repeat this oath, I would ask that you silently repeat it to you, making every word become yours. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland, and that I will support the Constitution and laws thereof, that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of, as your rank is, according to the Fire Department of Frederick County, for Frederick County, according to the Constitution and laws of this state, and that I will familiarize myself with and be obedient to the rules and regulations and operational procedures of the Frederick County Department of Fire Rescue Services, and faithfully serve Frederick County in the discharge of my duties to the best of my knowledge and ability. If each of you accept this oath, please respond individually with "I do."
I do. 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 I do.
Recruit class 33 and 34, you are no longer recruits. You are official. You may lower your right hands, and audience, give it up.
Good job, thank you.
If I could now ask that the guests and staff on stage take their belongings and move down to the front row for the presentation of the recruit class videos.
Oh, yes.
And now for RC34's video.
They're just dummy recruits. They're not firefighters.
Hey, yo.
Because we know there's one way in here. Put them in. And there's one way out. And it's that gate right over there. We can leave anytime we want, but we ain't gonna do that. Because who are we? Who are we? Whose house? Whose house? 34 on me, 34 on 3. 1, 2, 3. 34! Let's go.
Communicate action, Jack.
Frederick County, Frederick County, tough as nails, tough as nails. Mighty, mighty Frederick, mighty, mighty Frederick, Frederick County.
They're not dummy recruits anymore. They're dummy rookies. Congratulations, RC34.
In closing, would Deputy Fire Chief Poole come to the podium and give some guidance to the members of Recruit Class 33 and 34 before they start their first shifts?
To our honored guests, family, and friends, thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the accomplishments of the graduation of the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services Recruit Classes 33 and 34. Let me begin by thanking County Council President Brad Young, along with all the council members, for joining us this evening. I also want to thank Chief Administrative Officer John Peterson for joining us tonight. Like our county executive, our county council and CAO continue to be very strong supporters of our fire service, and for that we are very appreciative. I want to thank Colonel Ned Marsh for joining us tonight and sharing his motivational message and words of wisdom for our graduates. I also want to thank the Clerk of the Court, Sandra Dalton, for joining us tonight and administering our oath of office. Thank you to Ms. Hopkins for that glaring rendition of the national anthem, and for Reverend Myers for contributing to tonight's ceremony with praise for our folks. And last, I want to thank Gerald and Carol Paris, along with Chief Gary Kuntz, for joining us tonight and being a part of the first Zachary T. A. Paris Heart of the Lion Award. Thank you. While we are here tonight to celebrate accomplishments of the 47 recruits from Recruit Classes 33 and 34, this day, this ceremony, and the recruits graduating tonight take a much deeper meaning than most other graduation ceremonies. It was 2 years ago today that our fire service family tragically lost one of our own. At a structure fire on Ball Road in Imesville, we lost a friend and a colleague, Battalion Chief Josh Laird. More importantly, his family lost a husband, a father, son, a brother, and an uncle. Josh was a fierce advocate for the fire service, and he loved getting the new recruits after they graduated and got assigned to Station 25. He not only made them feel welcome, he welcomed the challenge of molding them into real firefighters and setting them on the path for success. 32 of the recruits graduating tonight are a direct result of Josh's sacrifice. Immediately following the incident, an external safety review panel comprised of subject matter experts from the region was formed to thoroughly review our actions at that incident and every element of our fire service in Frederick County. The panel published an after-action report and improvement plan in which one of the recommendations for improvement was to transition to 4-person minimum staffing on fire suppression apparatus as outlined in NFPA 1710. With the support of then County Executive Jan Gardner and the County Council, which County Executive Fitzwater and several of the current council members were members of, we submitted a Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or SAFER grant, for 32 new firefighters. This was to complete phase 1 of a 3-phase plan to go from 3-person to 4-person staffing on all career-staffed engines, ladder trucks, and rescue squads. We were awarded that grant in September of '22 and immediately went to work to get those 32 firefighters hired to start in January of 2023, along with some other budgeted positions made possible by the county executive and the county council. So to Josh, I know is proudly looking down on us tonight, and to his wife Sarah and their daughters Erin and Madeline, who are with us tonight, the recruits graduating here tonight are yet another positive and lasting impact Josh is having on our fire service. Josh, we miss you, brother. Now, to the members of recruit classes 33 and 34, today is the culmination of a long process. Approximately 15 months ago, you began a competitive process with just shy of 1,000 other applicants. And tonight, 47 of you are here and sworn in as Frederick County firefighters. So I'm proud to say to each of you, congratulations, you did it. While the last 28 weeks have been challenging, throughout your career, you will look back at your time at the academy as one of the highlights of your career. The bonds you've made in the last 7 months will last a lifetime. But your firefighter journey is just beginning. Your field training will prove to be just as, if not more challenging, than your recruit training. At family night, I asked each of you to trust the process. You did, and here you sit about to embark on the next phase of the journey. So again, I give you this simple advice. Trust and commit to the process, and you will succeed throughout your career all the way to retirement. On the first day of recruit training, Chief Coe shared a number of expectations that you must live up to be a Frederick County firefighter. And while Chief Coe did not hand me a speech to read to you, he did instruct me to deliver my version of a message he has given to every recruit class since becoming chief. So here we go. Recruits, the last 28 weeks have been about you, making sure you are trained, making sure you have the skill sets down, making sure you are ready to become a Frederick County firefighter, and you have proven you are ready. But beginning now and for the rest of your fire service career, it is about them. Some of you may be saying, them? Who's he talking about? Them is every person we serve. That's every person who calls 911 on their worst day. Every person who lays unconscious in a smoke-filled hallway. Every person who lays pulseless in their bed. From the time you step foot in the fire station on your first shift until the day you retire, all your actions and everything you do is about and for them. From ensuring your equipment and apparatus is always ready, to always being physically and mentally fit, to training and station drills you need to complete each shift, and to the decisions you will need to make each day, it is all about them. You will be faced with making tough decisions where the right answers may not always be clear. But always remember this: you can never go wrong if you make the decision based on what is best for them. While we have used the last 28 weeks to prepare you for tomorrow, your training, education, and preparation does not and cannot stop today. It must continue for the rest of your career. Make sure you are always doing everything you can to better prepare yourself mentally, physically, and technically to make a difference and help them. Your job is to treat them nice and care for them just as you would expect someone to care for a member of your family. Recruits, I expect you to be competent, compassionate, and professional all hours of the day without fail, and I know you will. Never forget, they don't get to choose who shows up when they call 911. When someone in Frederick County calls 911, Frederick County Fire Rescue responds. And beginning tomorrow, they are going to get you. So be ready, be nice, and take care of them. That is Chief Coe's #1 expectation of you starting now. Now let me turn my attention to your family, friends, and loved ones who have joined us tonight. Thank you for honoring my request of you at Family Night, which was to love and support your recruit. The last 7 months certainly was not easy for you either, as your recruit returned home each day from the academy tired, sore, and dirty. Coming through the door each evening, maybe not in a good mood, but I bet looking for something to eat and some quiet time to study. They likely missed out on some family events and surely missed spending time with you. The support you provided to your recruit was critical to their success. So recruits, stand up. Turn around. And join me in thanking your family and friends for all the support they provided you and for also trusting in the process. Now to our training staff. Frederick County has a premier training staff, one that we would put against any other fire department in the country. This group's commitment to the training and education of both recruits and incumbent firefighters is beyond measure. To Battalion Chief Frank Malta, Captain Dan Winters, Captain Ann Jonikin, Lieutenant John Arnold, Lieutenant Bernie Studs, Firefighter Mike Fogel, Administrative Assistant Ben Harris, and all the peer fitness trainers and instructors, thank you for everything you do day in and day out to deliver and maintain an elite recruit training program and experience. Let me also recognize the Emergency Medical Technician Program instructor, Firefighter Paramedic Mike Kelly. He not only served as the lead EMT instructor for Recruit Class 33, but he also mentored a new EMT instructor for Recruit Class 34. He ensured every recruit's success on the path to passing the challenging National Registry exam. I also want to thank Firefighter Paramedic Michael Curry, who served as an EMT instructor for Recruit Class 34 and is currently the lead instructor for Recruit Class 35. Thank you, Mike and Michael, and congratulations, Michael, on becoming a lead instructor. Lieutenants Adam Cross and Aaron Waltz, would you please rise? Lieutenants Cross and Waltz were assigned to the training academy to serve as the recruit class commanders for Recruit Class 33 and 34 respectively. As such, they were directly responsible for the day-to-day management and supervision and training of the respective classes. When Recruit Class 33 speaks about Lieutenant Cross, they use words like leader, motivation, and dedication. They speak about his extremely high expectations and leading to their success. When Recruit Class 34 speaks about Lieutenant Waltz, they use words like fair, dependable, and selfless. They speak about him being a father figure for many in the class, and he always was in their corner. Thanks to Lieutenant Cross and Waltz, the members of Recruit Class 33 and 34 will always remember to move with a purpose and ensure that they pay attention to detail for the rest of their careers. Through their dedication and commitment and leadership, their classes thrived, achieving high academic marks and demonstrating outstanding performance downrange on the training ground. Lieutenants Cross and Waltz pushed their recruits far beyond what they believed they could accomplish individually and taught them that they will always be better as a team. Lieutenant Cross and Waltz have completed their assignment at the training academy and will be transferring out to a fire station assignment in a few short weeks after they finish up all your all's paperwork. So Recruit Class 34, please rise and join me in thanking Lieutenants Cross and Waltz for their tireless effort and dedication to you and the training staff for ensuring your success. Thank you, Adam, Aaron, Frank, Dan, and the entire team. Awesome job as always. Lieutenant Cross, please bring Recruit Class 33 to attention for orders. Recruit Class 33, in accordance with General Order 23-027, your assignment at the Fire Rescue Training Academy is complete. Lieutenant Waltz, please bring Recruit Class 34 to attention for orders. Recruit Class 34, in accordance with General Order 23-028, your assignment at the Fire Rescue Training Academy is complete. Recruits, you are hereby graduated from recruit training, promoted to the rank of Firefighter 1, and transferred to your respective station assignments. Everyone, please join me in congratulating Frederick County's newest firefighters. Recruit Class 33 and 34, congratulations on a job well done. I cannot wait to see you out on the street making a difference, serving them, the citizens of Frederick County. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Fire Chief Poole. At this time, I would like to invite Reverend Dr. Eric T. Myers for the benediction. Would you please rise?
Before this evening's ceremony began, as we were gathering before coming into the auditorium, I heard one of tonight's graduates say to a friend that he reports for his first shift tomorrow morning. I don't know where he will be. I don't know where all of you will be when you report for the first time. But as you go not knowing what will happen. You go not knowing what the situations will be, the severity, the false alarms, the tragedies. But as you go to live out your calling to help others. You go living out your calling to serve those in need. And I am thankful for who you are and what you have done and what you will do. Know that you are in the thoughts and prayers of me and many as you serve. And as you go, I pray for steady hands and strong bodies and keen minds to do the work that you have been called to do. And I pray for patience for you and understanding with those whom you serve, with each other, and most importantly, with yourselves. And I pray for your families and friends and your loved ones, that they may be given a sense of peace as we all pray for your protection. So now, go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return no one evil for evil, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all people, love and serve the one who created you and who calls you, and go with God's blessing now and always. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the event and supporting our organization. This concludes our ceremony for tonight. If you could, let's just give the recruits one more round of applause.